Okay, so we're in 2025 and we are still wrapping up this love series, but today is a good one. It's a good one. So today we're going to talk about the difference between love versus need. Love is four-letter word, one syllable, but obviously a very complex word because it's quite subjective at times what it means to different people. And we've talked about that before, in the discussion around specifically unconditional love. But love in general is just pretty controversial as far as what it needs to different people. But I will say there are some specific differentiations between love and need, at least from my perspective. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I would say the first difference that we see between love versus need, and before I get into that, I want to qualify you can love and need someone. So oftentimes, even when you love someone, eventually you do need them. So if you're in a healthy relationship, of course there are these interdependencies that take place. So these are not two separate concepts that are going to, exist with no type of relationship. However, it's important to understand when you're loving someone versus needing them. And so now getting into that, I would say the first greatest differentiator is giving, looking to give versus to receive. That is the greatest and I would say easiest differentiator between love and need. Are you looking to receive from this person more so than to give, or are they looking to receive from you more so than to give? That is the number one indicator and I would say largest hint of looking at the differences between love versus need. Whether that's say a feeling or a comfort or protection or whatever. Are you looking to give or are you looking more so to receive? Number two, and this one comes more so in mind, I would say, for not to be biased against the men, but I would say it is probably a bias more towards men, at least in traditional relationship settings. And that is from a protection perspective. This is a easier way, I would say, to understand if you love someone versus need, or if you love them at all, I guess. And that is, are you looking to protect? Are you looking to protect the other person, whether it's from other people or whether it's their feelings or their emotions? Do you have a sense of calling to protect them? Or are you more so in the relationship to be protected, to get something out of it? If you love someone, there should be some calling to protect them, some calling to be there and create that safety for them. Some people go into relationships looking for that safety and looking for that protection. And that looking for the protection and safety, it's not that it's bad, but it is a need more so than it is a love you have for someone. And then ultimately, and this is pretty consistent with the other two, is the concern that you have for the relationship, for preserving the relationship. Is it more for your sake to give to them, to be generous to them, or is it more for your sake to take from them, like something you want? Like, we've all been in relationships, and maybe when the relationship is over, you say, well, I missed that, or I missed this, I missed that thing. And then you might say, okay, I want to be back in that relationship so I can get this thing or that thing or the other, whatever it is that you miss in the relationship. And in that moment, you're really focusing more on what you needed from the relationship. In my opinion, at least, that's not so much of love as much as that is you getting what you needed. And it's nothing, again, wrong with you getting what you needed. But just being clear on, that's not an indication that you love the person. It's more of an indication that this is something that you needed or at least desired from the person. And then similar to number three, I'm getting a little mixed up, is the nurturing aspect. So is it a relationship where you are more interested in nurturing or you're more interested in being nurtured? So in that respect, again, nurturing is something that is healthy in a relationship, right? It's healthy for you to receive nurturing. It's probably expected for you to receive nurturing. It's expected for you also to give nurturing. So in a relationship, is your focus more on being nurtured or is your focus more on giving the nurturing? So you see where I'm going, really, and the direction really is it about giving or is it about receiving? But I will get into some that are a little more different from just the giving and receiving nature. It's still giving and receiving, but it's not as direct. And that is looking at, say, autonomy versus control. When you're in a loving relationship, the focus is on wanting what is best for the person. So you want the person to self-actualize. You want to see the person really develop into who they're going to be, and that brings you joy because you love the person. But someone who is in a relationship more because of a need that they have is more focused on the control. How can I control this individual? How can I make this individual do what I want them to do, be where I want them to be, at all times? And that is more of a need. Now you have more of a need from the person than, say, being more so driven from the love. And in that spirit of wanting what's best for the person, number 5 is really just that. And that's not necessarily putting the first person before you, which obviously is a beautiful kind of love, but it's at least putting the person equal to you. And in that spirit, you want what's best for them, even if it's outside of the parameters of yourself. And that's important for all of us to do, but very difficult for a lot of us to do. But when we truly love someone, we're looking at how they can be their best selves. And sometimes that might not be to our advantage. And so that is the very important test of whether it's love or need. Are you able to want what is best for the person, even when it's not to your advantage? So those are the 5 components of comparing love to need. Hopefully in your relationships, you are loving as well as getting your needs met. But I do believe it's important to differentiate what you're experiencing, because sometimes we are driven by needs versus love. And I believe over a period of time, if you are solely driven by needs, it's not going to stand the test of time, but it's going to burn out. And needs can turn into love, and love can turn into needs. But hopefully you have both, and have a blessed day.